Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Had a late start to today because I had a late ending to last night. The wife and I stepped out, got a few drinks, found ourselves in a strip club. It was a club. We didn't know it was a strip club, so we just thought it was a club. We go in, have a drink, and there's like ass and titties everywhere. And she's like, "You want to stay?" And I look at her like, "What you think, baby?" She was like, "I don't mind. I'll stay." Yeah, let's stay. So we turned up, had a really good time. Got in late. My plan was to come in, knock out the show, but she looked so good. My wife did, and I ain't one of them type of dudes that don't like, to be with my wife and around. Well, I love my wife. She's a fabulous woman, and Gucci A1. But so we went ahead, did the damn thing, did the grown people thing, and she had to work this morning at 7 a.m. So that left me with the girls this morning. I had to go to the barbershop, had a couple of appointments. So I rounded the girls up early in the morning, went to the shop, knocked out my appointments, and got home as soon as I could to go ahead and bring you something. I had some. I was saying, well, you know what? I probably won't even do the show today, just because, I mean, these people, they the fam. They gonna understand this, and they'll take it easy on me. But you know what though? Nah, that's not how we got here. We didn't get here from taking it easy. I didn't get here from taking nights off. The way I got here was showing up every day and giving y'all the very best I got, and that is what we're gonna do today. Now, let's go ahead and jump into a very quick Core 4 review. That is where, every day I issue out my Core 4. I let you guys know who I'm going to be playing. I do this for a couple of reasons. Number one, I do this to help the newer guys start their lineups. I do it to give the new people that join the DFS Sweatshop, that follow the show on YouTube, that are with me on Twitter, guys that are even in the Facebook VIP. I do that so they can have a guide to start their lineup, so they know kind of where they want to go. Also, I do this because I want to show you when I play these guys what happens. I've got 4 out of 10 slates, my Core 4 hits, and everything goes well. Every lineup does not contain the complete Core 4, but every lineup has some semblance. Either it's a pivot play that's similarly priced to a guy that was in the Core 4, or either it was 3 guys or 2 guys, sometimes just 1 guy and some pivots that are very similar. So you can go to the website at dfssweatshop.com. That's where it will give you a complete breakdown of our Core 4 roster building strategy. We know that on DraftKings there are 8 slots. On FanDuel there are 9. I've got a couple of folks that join the sweatshop that play FanDuel exclusively, and I do play FanDuel. I play more DraftKings, but I do play FanDuel. So I will be releasing a Core 4 for FanDuel whenever there is a say like a slate like last night where we didn't have Otto Porter on the FanDuel main slate because it was the earlier games. So then I will from now on issue another Core 4 that will go along with the guys that play FanDuel. So we're growing, we're expanding. New data is being added every day. We just started to do our own projections. This is where we take an average of what all of the other sites are saying, and then we add our own projections to it, average them out, and that's the projections that we're rolling with. Because a lot of what we're doing as DFS players is finding out what everybody else thinks. If you ever played poker, man, it's very similar. If you can kind of read what the other guys are doing, you know how to play your hand a little better. And that's why we do absorb a lot of information for you, and we go out and we see what all the other guys are talking about. We want to know what the six pack is, even though we know most times it's bullshit. We want to know what the core 5 that they're running over there. We want to know what that is, because we want to know the way they're trying to shit us. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we do. We go get all that information, then we bring y'all some real, genuine shit. That's what we do. That is the motto in the DFS Sweatshop. Let's go ahead and jump to the Core 4. We're going to start with Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's a play who I really liked. Had him in a lot of lineups last night, and he picked up 2 early fouls in the beginning of the game and did not have a good performance overall. At about 23% owned, 9.7K, he brought back 43.75 DraftKings points. That was just enough for him not to be completely in my doghouse. He's not a player that I roster all the time anyway, but I'll take it. I mean, I have no choice. The next play was Patrick Beverley. This is a play that I really liked once we got the news that we weren't going to see Chris Paul. But Chris Paul out of the game, I really thought Patrick Beverley was going to have a chance to thrive in a fast-paced, up-tempo game at home against the LA Clippers. He did really well. For the first 3 quarters, but the game kind of got out of hand, and we didn't see him much in the fourth quarter. excuse me, at 5.5K, 2% in ownerships. He was definitely in position to separate us. He scored 31.25 DraftKings points. Pretty decent showing from him. The next play we had was a guy we talked about just a few seconds ago, Otto Porter. He was a player I really liked. I thought this game was going to get out of hand, so I didn't have a lot of John Wall. But I thought that, well, if they blow him out, is it going to be all John Wall? Or are other guys going to contribute along the way? And when I thought about those other guys that are going to contribute to the blowout, the first name that popped up in my head was Otto Porter. However, it was Marcin Gortat, who I did have in a couple other lineups. But Otto Porter, 6.1K. A lot of people felt the way we did. 28% owned. Goes out and scores 25 DraftKings points. Not a great day for Otto Porter. The last play was a play that I never make. I absolutely hate rostering this dude, but when I put my numbers and my names together and the projections came out and it spit this out to me, it was Melo. Melo was my favorite play, and he wasn't my favorite play because I like Melo. He was my favorite play because that's what my data told me was going to be one of the best like value style play of the day at that position. I was looking for a small forward to roster, and Melo popped up at 7.3K, 14% ownership, so a lot of people were not on him. He went out and scored 48.75 DraftKings points, led the core four in scoring, and had a really nice performance out. Now we're going to jump. Well, first, I got to clear this up. Now, we're looking for 5 to 6x value, preferably 6. 5, we won't kill you. 5.5, that's okay. 6, we love you. And right now, we don't love this core. We don't want to kill them, but we really needed them to do more. On a low scoring night, we were lucky here because on a high scoring night, I wouldn't have cashed. This core would have been shit on a high scoring night. Luckily, it was such a low scoring night and it was so crazy that motherfuckers were scoring out of nowhere. Montrezl Harrell had 40 points. Josh Richardson's had 50. All these crazy people scoring all these points. We really could not predict it. It was a very crazy night. Very crazy night. That's why I went to the strip club and I saw some titties and ass with my wife. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the feature for players of the night. This is the most tweeted about guys in the DFS sweatshop, on the website, in the Facebook VIP, just everywhere that is concerning the DFS sweatshop. This is what everybody had to say. Josh Richardson is the who dat scoring all them points over there player tonight at 11% owned, goes out 5K, scores 50 DraftKings points, 10x value. Awesome game we saw from Josh Richardson. The how did I miss that play tonight comes from the same game but one of our best core four members came from, and this is Kristaps Porzingis. I didn't have him anywhere. Dude was only 10% owned, 7.4K in salary. He goes out and drops a 50 burger. Really great game we saw from Kristaps Porzingis. The heat check play tonight can only go to James Harden. This dude had the heaviest burden on his back. He was the highest priced player in our player pool at 22% ownership, so a lot of people were on him. He goes out 11.7K, 75.75 DraftKings points, 6x value at its peak. Awesome performance we saw from James Harden. And just throw this in there. The reason why it's so awesome when you can get a high price guy to go 6x is because it takes the burden off of you finding 2 or 3 guys that can go 6x. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's all on one. It's all on one guy. And it was on James Harden tonight, and that's why he's tonight heat check player of the night. Now we get to that one motherfucker. This is a motherfucker who I had in no lineups. As a matter of fact, this is not even for me because I knew you was a snowflake. I didn't like you already. When I heard that Kawhi Leonard was going to be out, I definitely didn't want to fuck with you because he kind of sets you up in some spots. When the team focuses on Kawhi Leonard, then I see that you have an opportunity to get off. And when Kawhi was out, everybody jumped on you. But when Kawhi came out, everybody jumped up on him. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to ease back off him because it's not a good team. That's not a good team rolling out there. It's a Popovich coach team, but it's not a good team without Kawhi Leonard. And I didn't really want to invest that much on a mediocre player, this year being a mediocre player on a bad team, on a bad night. I didn't want to fuck with you. But so this is for everybody in the sweatshop that did fuck with you. All of y'all gather around. Gather around, because we got something to tell LaMarcus Aldridge. Everybody in the sweatshop. VIP, come on. Hey, Facebook, yeah. On the website, y'all come on. LMA. We got together. And we decided you a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass. How the fuck you gonna go out with the best player taken off the team? Now you the best player on the floor, supposedly. Revenge. They used to play for the motherfuckers. When you went to Portland, you balled out. You didn't tonight at the crib. You a motherfucking snowflake, man, with your snowflake ass. How you gonna go out 18% ownership? 7.3K. 17 DraftKings points. Bruh, your ownership was higher than your DraftKings score. You are the second motherfucker to do this, man. You a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass. Let's go and get on with the rest of the show. Now, usually we do a quick recap of last night's games. There were 10 games. We all saw them. We know what time it is. I am a little pressed with time because I have the babies. But what I do want to do is jump into a very quick. And by the way, I've got to let you know, my night was completely saved by Klay Thompson. He was my late night hammer. Him and Draymond Green were the only two players that I kind of liked in that Golden State game. I did get Klay up in there, and he saved the day for me. My best DraftKings score last night did not hit 300. It was I had this entered in a lot of different contests. This dude just saved my night, bro. Klay Thompson, man, he went the fuck off. Excellent late night hammer. In this lineup, we have John Wall, Klay Thompson, Markieff Morris, Anthony Davis, Martin Gortat, T.J. McConnell, and Nick Stauskas. I wanted to use those two plays that we got from the NBA, like two injury plays, and they were kind of chalk. John Lure was somebody who I liked kind of at the last minute. I really wasn't on him, but when I got to the value points because I wanted to stack Washington and also pay up for Anthony Davis because I did like him last night. So that's found me with Markieff Morris, John Wall, and Martin Gortat. But I knew that I wanted to get those two value plays in there to kind of save salary, and I got T.J. McConnell and Nick Stauskas together. That was like 6,300 right there. Those two guys combined. So when I paid up for Anthony Davis, I had Klay Thompson left. I got down to this last play, and it was like hit John Lure and a couple other guys. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to throw John Lure in there. And that was a really good showing from him. He had 36 DraftKings points. This team altogether brought back a total of 293.25 DraftKings points. Really nice showing from them. And Klay Thompson came up big, late night hammer style, 42.5 DraftKings points at, I believe, 6.4x. Brought back that 6x value and then some. And this lineup definitely cashed for me. Let's go ahead and jump into a quick player pricing. I'm going to go in here. And we're just going to do the 5 games because that's kind of all we have to work with on the DraftKings main slate. So we're going to open this up and go in here. Now, as we can see, the most expensively priced guy on the slate is going to be Russell Westbrook at 12.5K against the LA Clippers. Chris Paul is questionable. He may play tonight. And for that reason, I don't want any of Westbrook. The only thing that I might even remotely give credence to is, oh man, he just got tossed. He gonna come out raring to go, ready to fire it up, blah blah. And that could be true, but I'm not fucking with it. 12.5, that's just too much. And y'all know, on a 5-game slate, what are we doing? Stacking. We're stacking. We're not going with individual plays. We're stacking. We're gonna find the point totals that we really like, and we're gonna stack out of them. So we got Westbrook at 12.5, Harden 11.9. That's a very good price for him. I think Houston's stack is in play again. There's been two times this season where if you stack the Houston offense, you win all the money. Last night and about a month ago, if you had stacked the Houston starting 5 from 1 to 5, just stacked them, you'd have won all the fucking money. The first time, you could have went 6 deep and won all the money. I'm just saying. We got Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think folks are going to be off him just a little bit because of the game he had last night. I do like him to bounce back against Chicago. LeBron James, he is definitely in play against Charlotte at 10.4. I really wish I could have went to this game tonight, but I got to work. I'll be at work at 6, so we're going to roll through everything. Kevin Love at 8.7 in play. There is definitely room for a Cleveland stack here. Jimmy Butler, 8.6. I don't know if the Chicago offense is stackable. It would be if we knew that Michael Carter-Williams was going to get a start. That would make the Chicago offense very stackable because you could get them all in there. Nick Batum at 8K. He's in play for me, but maybe as a one-off. I don't want to stack Charlotte tonight. Gordon Hayward at 8K. I love a Utah stack. I think that's going to be really good tonight against Phoenix. Kemba Walker at home. You know how I feel about Kemba at home. If I was going to play 2 guys from this game, it would be Kemba and Nicholas Batum. Eric Bledsoe at 7.3 is a no for me. Rudy Gobert, even though it's a 10th ranked DVP against centers, I still like Rudy Gobert tonight. DeAndre Jordan at 7.2 is in play if we see Chris Paul. If not, I do not like him. Jabari Parker is nice to bounce back. This Milwaukee offense is stackable. I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing it come together. Milwaukee is definitely stackable tonight. Chris Stapps at 7.2 is in play as a one-off if you want to, because if you're going to stack Houston, you might as well grab you a Nick because somebody's going to try. And it's either going to be Chris Stapps Porzingis or Carmelo Anthony. I would say it would be Chris Stapps. He'd be in a better position for me. Derrick Rose at 6.5 is definitely a no against Patrick Beverly defense. George Hill, part of that Utah stack, is definitely a play I like. Dwayne Wade is in play. If you're talking about, maybe stacking Milwaukee and then grabbing a guy from Chicago, he's in play. Devin Booker, Jimmy Butler, we talked about him already. Rajon Rondo is a no for me. Eric Gordon is in play at 5.8 against the New York Knicks. Ryan Anderson, of course, is in play. Patrick Beverly, all these guys are in play, bro. The Houston stack is going to be nice tonight. JJ Redick at 5.4 is a no for me. Trevor Ariza, of course, we just talked about that. Enes Kanter against the Clippers. Second team, I kind of like him at 5.2. Montrezl Harrell is definitely in play at 5K against the New York Knicks. We talked about that already. Then the Houston stack, Clint Capella's out. Jamal Crawford is in play for me against Oklahoma City. Tristan Thompson is in play at 4.8. You can attack Charlotte rebounding the basketball. TJ Warren, 4.8, no for me. Even though the price is down on him, no for me. I'm not gonna be rolling too much TJ Warren tonight. I may have one lineup if I go with a nice Utah stack and I just want to grab somebody and he's cheap as shit and then I got to choose between him and Brandon Knight or something in utility, I might roll that. Taj Gibson is in play for me at 4.7. He's in play. Cody Zeller is a no for me tonight. Rodney Hood is in play in the Utah stack. Robin Lopez, yes, he's in play. Greg Monroe, yes, he's in play in a Milwaukee stack, definitely. MKG, I'm feeling Milwaukee's stack. Milwaukee. So far, I'm feeling Milwaukee. I'm feeling Houston. So far, yeah. We gotta check the point totals though, to justify what I'm saying. Joakim Noah at 4.6 is in play. I think I would say he was. Tyson Chandler's a no. Marvin Williams is a no for me. Derek Favors is in play in that Utah stack. I like that. Raymond Felton, man. If we don't see Chris Paul again, we may want to look to Raymond Felton. Shelvin Mack is a no for me. He's not going to get that much minutes with George Hill back, who I like in that Utah stack. Jeremy Lamb is a nice, cheap one-off play. You think the game's going to blow out a little bit and you want to get some scrub love, you can definitely use Jeremy Lamb as well as Justin Holiday. They're similarly priced right there. Brandon Knight at 4K is a no for me. Joe Ingles is in play if you want a piece of the Utah bench. John Henson is a no for me. Brandon Jennings is a no for me. I don't like him. Kyle O'Quinn, Iman Shumpert. If he gets a start, I think we can look to Iman Shumpert for some value too. Frank Kaminsky, if you think the game's going to blow out, you want to get some love from the Charlotte bench, you can definitely roll Frank Kaminsky out there. Luke Mbamute is a sneaky play, I think, at 3.6. He is a sneaky play. Ramon Sessions, Marco Bellinelli, Alex Lynn. All right. Sam Decker is a play I really like for the cheap at 3.4 against the New York Knicks, as well as Trey Lyles at 3.4. I like those plays right there. Dragon Bender is a play for me at 3.3. I think we're going to see a little more from him because this game is probably not going to be as competitive as we think it is. So you might see a little bit of Dragon Bender in Scrub Love. Joe Johnson is a no. Marcus Chris. So we scrolling down, man, and everybody's going to be on this guy because of the minutes that he got last time. I think Michael Carter Williams can be a decent play, especially if we get some more news, and we find out more about Rajon Rondo. Let's take a quick break. I'm gonna check on my babies. I'll be right back. Oh, she woke up. She was crying. She woke up and she was crying. So Daddy had to get her. Say hey, baby. Say hey. This is Daddy's youngest baby. This is Carly Simone. She was on the show a while back. And she just woke up from a little nap, so she's a little upset. Sit her right here. So, now, let's go ahead and jump into the point totals for today's games. We've got one game going on at 5 o'clock. This is the Memphis Grizzlies at the Sacramento Kings. This game is not going to be on the DraftKings main slate, but it is going to be on the FanDuel. I think we do have a slate out for the FanDuel games. We do have that. And this is like the lowest point total. You don't like this game? She doesn't like this game. This is the lowest point total I've seen in quite some time. 194.5 point total. The Sacramento Kings are at home, giving up a point to the Memphis Grizzlies. I think the only reason why they're giving that point up is because the Sacramento Kings are at home. I don't see this game being higher than the total. I think it's going to be a low tick game for real. This looks like this is a bad game to invest in. But on the outset, when you have those situations, that's when you got to dig a little bit deeper. Let's look at if things change. We don't see Mike Conley, bam, we see Andrew Harrison. That is instant value. We like Andrew Harrison on FanDuel if Conley doesn't start. That we automatically, if Conley doesn't start, we immediately like Marc Gasol as well. You got something you want to say? We immediately like Marc Gasol as well. So on the Sacramento side, we know we're not going to see Rudy Gay. That puts Omri Caspi in play for the cheap. Matt Barnes going to be against his old team. He should play with the Memphis Grizzlies. He's probably going to want to play well. We can use Matt Barnes. Not a lot to like in this game, but Boogie is always in play, being the player that he is. So there's a few plays from this game that you might be able to want to take advantage of. The next game is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers going to Charlotte to take on the Hornets. The Hornets are receiving 2.5 points from Cleveland. The spread is very low, so that leads me to believe that we're going to see some rest. We're going to see maybe Kyrie is going to take a break for a game. It would suck if LeBron didn't play for the people in Charlotte, because I know that a lot of them pay just to see LeBron, but I think he is good to go. He's going to play tonight, and this is a 212 point total with the Cleveland Cavaliers giving up 2.5. Now, instantly, what we're looking for is we're trying to stack. Does this point total give us enough to where we feel like we will be able to stack this game comfortably? I think it does. I think it does on the Cleveland side. Just not so much on the Charlotte side. Charlotte guys to me would be more of a one-off play. Something like you like Batum, you like Kemba. I like Kemba at home, especially if Kyrie plays good up against Kyrie defense. I think Kemba's really good. Hey, let me talk. Now, sorry, so interrupted. On the Cleveland side, we can go 3-4 deep on this, because I like LeBron, I like Love, and I like Tristan Thompson to attack Charlotte rebounding. We can definitely go there. On the Charlotte side, we talked about that. I like Kemba, I like Batum. We don't have to roll Batum because we do have some more really good plays at the small forward position. That's some one-offs. I'm not going to be stacking Charlotte at all. The next game is going to be Milwaukee and Chicago. This is a 203.5 point total, with the Milwaukee Bucks receiving 2.5 points from the Chicago Bulls. So the Bulls are a home favorite, giving up 2.5. I like stacks on both sides of the ball, depending on what we see. What's wrong, baby? What's wrong? Oh, come on. Okay. Okay. I like stacks on both sides of the ball, depending on what we're going to see as far as, Rajon Rondo minutes. If we're not going to see a lot of minutes from Rajon Rondo, I think we can definitely stack up on the Chicago players. When you talk about Michael Carter-Williams, you talk about that means Jimmy Butler's usage, I think, is going to go up a lot, because it's not like they're going to just totally entrust the team to Michael Carter-Williams. I mean, Jimmy Butler's going to be handling the ball some too. And I like Dwayne Wade. I even like Robin Lopez in this game. I think that if you stack Chicago, you can definitely come out clean. On the Milwaukee side, now with Giannis coming off of that subpar performance last night, I really think we can roll with the Milwaukee side, especially if Malcolm Brogdon gets another start. We've got to check on that and make sure the news is there for him. Tony Snell going back to Chicago could be a narrative as well. Michael Carter Williams got drafted by the. Did he get drafted by the? No, he got drafted by the Sixers. So it's not like a big revenge narrative thing. Plus, he's a young player who's never really been great. So it's not like he wants to. He has this huge following of players. Of fans that he was ripped away from as he was traded from the team. It's not even like that. That's not even a narrative. But Tony Snell is, because Chicago booted his ass. So he might want to go there and kind of play well. So I think that's definitely, a way we can look if we wanted to follow a revenge narrative. But I do like a Milwaukee stack today. The next game we're going to talk about is the New York Knicks, my New York Knicks, going to Houston and I should be at this game with the homie LT. Why you didn't get me tickets, bruh? The New York Knicks going to Houston to take on the Rockets. It is a 224-point total, with the Houston Rockets giving up 11 points in this contest. Now this game kind of has blowout written all over it, but I don't think it's that simple. Both teams are coming off a back-to-back, so maybe they're not going to be as on point, the Houston Rockets, as they were. But I do see the game being won handily by the Houston Rockets. Just not an insane blowout where we don't see anybody of value in the fourth quarter. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think we're going to see a full allotment of minutes from most of the really good players in this game. We're going to start on the New York Knicks side. There's definitely stack potential here, just because Houston at home plays such a fast pace, and they're not a particularly good team defensively. They just want to beat you to 100. That's Houston's philosophy. We're just going to beat them to 100, and that's what they do most times. That's what they've been doing for the last 11 games. They're on an insane right now winning streak. So I think we can look to Chris Stapps. We can look to Carmelo Anthony again. The Holiday kid may be a really good play inside there. We can also look to Joakim Noah too, because Houston is not very good rebounding the ball and just against the center position in general. So that's where we would go as far as the Knicks. On the Houston stack, man, you can go 5 deep on this motherfucker, dog. I'm telling you, I'm doing it. There's gonna be a lineup. I'm gonna put it in, and it's gonna have a Houston starting 5, as many motherfuckers as I can get. That's what I'm gonna do, because they're probably gonna run it up on the Knicks. And you can, as far as coming off of the Knicks, Houston bench, we talked about Decker, we talked about Gordon. I mean, there's a ton of plays just from the Houston side of the ball that can really help you get to the money. The next game we're going to talk about is the LA Clippers going to Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder. And let's do a quick check just to see if we've got any news on Chris Paul. Yep, still waiting on some news from Chris Paul. We still don't have any word yet on that. So we need to just stay tuned and stay as close as we can. It says he's doubtful. The last thing we got 5 minutes ago came out on Fantasy Lab, says that Chris Paul is doubtful. So we can kind of look at that as he's probably not going to be playing. So on the Oklahoma City side, we will have Vic Oladipo back. Now, they didn't say anything about him being on a minutes restriction, but a lot of times that does happen. Now, this was not a below the knee injury. Below the waist injury. I think it was a wrist, and that's really not, he can play. If he can play, he can play. So I think we can fire up Oladipo tonight. That's going to give Westbrook a little more fire to play. He's getting his teammate back. I think that's going to be really good for him. I won't be starting any Russell Westbrook, but if you're thinking about stacking, because the only way I would start Russell Westbrook is if I'm stacking the squad. And now that Oladipo's back, maybe they are a stackable offense. But against the Clippers with no Chris Paul, that might be a thing. I'm starting to like that. We stack Oklahoma City against Chris Paul. Oladipo's back, so you have more than one really good scoring option on the Oklahoma City side. The ownership is probably going to be low because people don't like the roster guys first day back from injury. That is definitely something that we can look into. On the Clippers side, if you're stacking this, man, you're going to have to be a fucking genius to figure out if the coach's son is going to get tossed, if the coach is going to get tossed, if Raymond Felton is going to is going to shoot 12 of 15, if DeAndre Jordan is going to knock down free throws. I guess so many different variables to picking the LA Clippers stack that I think you just grab the one-off value play. Whoever you think is going to be the starter at point guard, you grab him. He's going to be cheap, and you just get him in your lineups. The next game we're talking about, and the last game on the slate for this New Year's Eve, is the Phoenix Suns going to Utah to take on the Jazz. This is a 207-point total, with the Utah Jazz giving up 12 points at home to the Phoenix Suns. This game is truly going to be a blowout, but Utah, they don't blow teams out to the point of no return. They do really well, and they get up on teams, and they let teams back in. And Phoenix is a team that I think can make this game a little bit more competitive. So I don't trust. I think it's going to be a blowout. This game's going to be over before. You're going to know it's over before it is. But I don't think it's going to be a situation where we don't see meaningful minutes from the starters on either side of this team. So I do like a Utah stack. You can go as much as 4 in one line. I'm talking about George Hill, Rodney Hood, um, Favors, and Gordon Hayward. Now that I look at it more, I kind of don't like Rudy Gobert as much as I did initially. I think he's definitely worth rostering, but in a stack, if I want to rock a cheap one of my cheaper stacks, so I can maybe get Harden in there. If I can get just 4 Utah players and get Harden in there, maybe Porzingis or somebody like that, then that's the way I would go. I would go cheaper because I think he's like the second priced player in a Utah stack. Talking about Rudy Gobert. So those are the stacks that we got for tonight. Remember, the way we attack these short slates, we are stacking. We are not picking players, cherry picking plays. That's what they tell you to do. But what they doing is they stack it. They got 150 lineups and they got every offense they really like, mix and match different ways. That's the only way to get them. And on these short slates, they have less places they can hide. There's less value plays they can hide behind. So it's very similar. It's a strong chance that one of us who maybe have 5 lineups can have a very similar lineup, even a better lineup than a dude that has 150 lineups because there's less plays for him to hide behind. So remember, we are stacking tonight. This has been your DFS Jerusalem and the crying Carly Simone, the daddy baby. Wishing you a happy New Year's Eve. If you would like to support the show, there's a box over here. It says support the show. You can definitely do that. Click that. Let it take you where it wants to take you. You can copy some DFS Sweatshop swag. There's going to be a link in the description. You can go and check that out. As well as my personal PayPal is simmonsmaurice95@yahoo.com. Or to become a full-fledged, all-day, 24/7 member of the DFS Sweatshop, you can go ahead and go to dfssweatshop.com. That's where you'll get our DVPs, our rankings, our cheat sheets, everything, Core 4 tutorial videos, everything that we have to make you a profitable DFS player. One more thing, I really love the fact that so many of you are changing your avatars. If you're down with the Sweatshop, go and change it. Change it to the Sweatshop logo. Send me an email if you need a picture. I will send it to you, right? This has been your DFS Jerusalem. I thank y'all so much for bearing with me, man. I'm doing this. This is gonna be full time for me one day. One day, this is all I'm gonna be able to do, and I'm gonna have an office and my studio set up, and I will be able to bring this shit to you on time every day, same time. I promise. But I'm one man doing this by myself. I have a bunch of damn kids, 2 jobs. Very hard to do, but I appreciate all the support and love y'all been giving me, and that's why I had to make this video today. Y'all have a wonderful New Year's Eve and Happy New Year. I won't be making a video for tomorrow. We'll be making a video for tomorrow. New Year's, we've got a lot of stuff going on, and we are relaunching the site. We have gained so much support over the last month. The site's been open. We went live December 2nd. We've received so much support that we are relaunching the website. Everything that everybody contributed, whether it was tips that we got from hit the PayPal from the guys on Twitter, whether it was, well wishing, hey man, take this man and run with it, do something with it, or subscriptions, hey, I want to be down the sweatshop, I bought a subscription. We're taking all of that, and we're reinvesting it back into this thing because we want to make it the best that we can, and actually we want to make it the best DFS site out. And it's all because of you. It's your fault. You're doing this for me. Thank you. The one person, that are watching this, you are just as important to the DFS Sweatshop as I am. More. Thank you so much. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon, and let's go out and keep it 300.